Hello, welcome to the Beanbird 2 channel where we talk about testimonies and the goodness of God. And today is a special video where I'm doing a collaboration with my friend Donna. She does devotionals and I'm going to incorporate her devotional into this lesson. So we would appreciate any comments and feedback that you have on this format. And so I want to start by talking about the protection of God, the way that He protects us when we surrender to His Lordship. And I want to start this with a story of something that happened in my life, and then I'm going to work this into the devotional and takeaways that we can learn from this to be encouraged and to be strengthened through trials. And so I want to start with a story that I had one time. I went shopping at Target with my husband. And the layout of Target, as many of you know who have ever been into a store, is that there are clusters of aisles, and then there's like a main aisle, and then on the other side of the main aisle is another cluster of aisles. And while we were shopping, I was taking my time perusing, looking at clocks. And my husband and I have very different styles of shopping. He's very efficient. He goes in, he gets what he needs, and he gets out. I, on the other hand, I like to look at the products. I like to read reviews. I like to price compare. I contemplate, ponder, meander, all those things when I'm looking at stuff. So while I was looking at clocks in the shopping aisle, my husband was like, why don't we divide and conquer? You can look at clocks all you want, read all the way you want to read. I'm going to go pick up the essentials across the main aisle. And so I was, agreement with that. I was like, great, I'll just, keep looking here. So he went off to look at, the soaps and things that we needed across the way. So while I was there shopping, I was looking at my phone, looking at price comparisons and all this kind of stuff, completely distracted by what was going on around me. But little did I know that my husband, who was shopping for soap, was kind of keeping an eye on me in the wings. And he's a very perceptive person, and he had become aware, noticing that there were a group of 3 men that were circling my aisle. So once he noticed it, he started paying closer attention, stopped shopping, and he stayed kind of a little bit farther away in the other aisle, but he was watching the whole time. And he said he saw these guys kind of loop around the aisle 3 times doing a circle, and then one of them came and stood sort of next to me and then walked around, and then another one had come and done the same thing. And he was watching what looked like predator-like behavior. And he said that, during this time, I was completely distracted by what was going on around me with the clocks and my phone and, reading labels. And so he kept an eye on the situation. And then at just the right time, he had come in and he said, all right, it's time to go. And I just went ahead and followed him. And it wasn't until after we got home that he told me what had happened. He said, I didn't want to say anything while we were in the store. He's like, but the entire time you were in that aisle, I was watching you just being circled by this group of 3 men. And he said, what boggled my mind, he said, was that you were just completely unaware as to the danger that you were in that circumstance. And so, he cautioned me to be more aware of my surroundings when I'm shopping. And I was thankful that he was with me in that time. But some takeaways that I have from that story is that I was alone by outward appearance. These guys that were watching me so closely, they didn't realize that my husband was just across the main aisle watching the whole thing take place. And the other thing is that, he was watching the whole time and he was protecting me the whole time. So even though I was vulnerable and unaware, I was under my husband's protection the entire time. And at just the right time, my husband knew when to intercede and come in and then remove me from that situation. And I think that there's some takeaways we can think about as the way that the Lord protects us too. I think too often we feel like we're alone and we don't really recognize that Jesus is with us the whole time and he's in control of everything and he's always watching us. He's always shepherding us in the direction that we should go. And so I want to start by reading this portion of Donna's devotional where we're starting with the Psalm 91, verse 1 through 10. Who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wing you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in the darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look, and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place, no evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. And the next psalm I want to read is Psalm 121, 7 through 8. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. So Donna begins her devotional reading this. Evil lurks all around us. We're subject to so much darkness in this world, and as the time moves forward, we encounter many wolves who are ravenous and want nothing more than to destroy all who are followers of Jesus. Why? There is no place for light in darkness. Light overtakes evil that is done in the cover of darkness and exposes it. People who wish to harm us do not want to be exposed. So what do? We dwell in the shadow of the Most High. We allow Him to protect us and to keep us safe from the evil that wants nothing more than to overtake all who belong to Jesus. Jesus is our shield, our fortress, our strong tower, and our buckler. He is the barrier that stands between us and the ravenous wolves who wish to devour us. Trust in Him for deliverance. He will walk before us in dangerous situations and protect us. We will be amazed at how His mighty hands have held back the evil one who wants us all eliminated from the population. He will forever be all we need. Today is Saturday, and I hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. Blessings to you and love to everyone for you today and every day. And it's such a beautiful devotion. I hope that that blesses you. And I want to kind of expand on that and say that we have the free will to surrender to Jesus as Lord. And when we do that, it's a positive thing for us. When we surrender to the Lord, when we make Him Lord over our whole lives, we free ourselves from many burdens. We free ourselves from stress and anxiety, fear, worry, all the heavy burdens. And there's this pitfall where if we believe that we have more control over outside situations than we do, we end up stuck with wearing those clothes of anxiety and depression and worry and fear, when really it's the Lord who clothes us in robes of scarlet. The truth is that Jesus is in complete control. He created the world, and we know this. But I feel like there's levels of knowing something. There's when we contemplate and we really take in the fact that God created this world and nothing happens outside of His care and protection, and that He is the one who is our provision and our strength. And nothing happens that He does not allow. And since He's the one in control, He's the one who decides when to fix things and how to fix things. And He does things all right and correctly in His time. I think that another pitfall is that, I know I'm guilty of this all the time, so I'm speaking of myself, is that this idea that doesn't God see, and then fill in the blank with whatever it is, some difficult thing or some evil thing or some trial, and we just wonder, like, doesn't God see that this is happening? Isn't He aware? Isn't He going to do something? And sometimes we can even think that people or situations are getting away with it. They're not being reined in, but that is not true. Jesus is always working, and He does things in His time, and He does things the right way, in the perfect way. And I've been spending time myself just really trying to take that in, and it does relieve so much burden and pressure when we realize that we don't have control over as much as we might think we do on outside situations. Now, since there's free will, we do have the free will to surrender and to go under the Lord's protection. And that is free will that, we want to do that. That only benefits us, it benefits those around us, and it helps us to understand the depth and beauty of the love of Jesus. And because the love of Jesus has so many layers and there's so much to reveal and he's infinite, we can never exhaust the understanding of the depth of his love. And we can grow in that. We can grow in our faith, which will make us stronger and draw us ultimately closer to the Lord Jesus. So the trials that we go through, they do draw us closer to Jesus. They help us to learn the deeper things of Jesus. It helps us to grow our faith, and ultimately that means growing the roots of our faith, which eventually manifest in the beautiful fruits of the Spirit and the wonderful works that the Lord has set aside just for you. It also makes us have a growing desire to be under the Lord's protection, and that allows us to fully rest in the comfort of his protection and under his wings. And we learn to hear his voice and rely on his voice, and that helps us grow in all strength and wisdom. And as we do those things, we cleanse our lives of evil, deceit, and wrong beliefs, and we're able to break strongholds off of our life. So when people say, and you read, our strength comes from the Lord, that's not a cliche. It's something that we need to deeply meditate on, that we truly can do nothing without the Lord's protection, his guidance, his leading, and that we are vulnerable like a lamb. And it's Jesus who holds back, and he allows things into our life, sometimes for a time, and he knows when to call a stop to it or when it needs to end. And the things that he allows are because he wants to grow us, and it does grow our faith. And we don't grow away from the Lord through trials when we walk with him. He uses those things to make all these good things grow from us. And so our role as the believer, as a child, we need to know that we are loved. We need to rest in the love of the Father. We need to pray and intercede for those around us, our family, our friends, coworkers, anyone that the Lord places on your heart, really. And we need to allow ourselves to rest in his love and to allow God to be your God, to allow him to be your fortress, to allow him to be your deliverer, and for you to stand firm on your faith. And we have to know that he is God, and that he is the God of all things, and that nothing happens that he does not see, and that all things are resolved when he chooses to resolve them, when he chooses to fix them, because he's in control. And he's aware of each one of his sheep that have gone astray, and he uses us to pray and intercede for those people, that they will come back to him and come into a strong belief and right relationship with him. And so rest in Jesus, know that he is in control, and just appreciate him as your Lord. He's offering us this gift of his protection, and we have to stand up and on our faith and receive that protection. And we receive that protection by surrendering. And it's such a gift that gives us so much peace, the peace that surpasses all understanding. And so reset your life by trusting in the Lord, surrendering yourself to his lordship, and accepting his protection in your life. Just pray, Lord, I accept your protection in my life. I surrender my will to your will. I acknowledge that you are the creator. You are good. You are love. You are the deepest love I can imagine, Lord. I thank you so much for your goodness. I thank you for your care. I trust in your timing. I trust in your control. I trust in your provision. I trust that you are my fortress, Lord. Lead me, guide me, protect me, Lord. I need you. I need you today. I cannot do anything on my own strength, but by your will, I can be made to flourish and grow. I can be made to stand tall in faith, and I can be a warrior of intercession and prayer for other people. You can speak mightily into my life and change and things that are around us that seem hopeless. With faith, we can, move situations that seem like impossible, because all things are possible with Jesus. And so just recognize that Jesus is your fortress and strong tower and shield, and he is your buckler. And that's to be made personal. That's you. That's your God. He loves you, and he wants to work with you and do amazing things with your life. There's so much hope, and when we keep our eyes on Jesus, we can know that the future is bright, and he has a great future for us, and he is always leading us. He's so gentle, so loving, and so kind. So I hope that blesses you today, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all later. Thanks.